Hello everyone, it's Patty Behan and thank you for tuning in today. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make this pearlescent and sparkly Halloween trick-or-treat tag. And I'll be using some of the newest Distress products. I'll be using Distress mica stains, which are an ink spray with some mica powder in them, and collage medium, stickles, some glitter, and Tim Holtz stamps and stencils. So let's get started. To begin, I have a scrap piece of black cardstock and the halftone Halloween stamp set. I'm using the cat stamp from this set, and we're going to stamp with collage medium to apply the glitter to the stamp. And what we're going to do is put some collage medium onto the craft sheet, and I'm going to apply it to the foam applicator on the mini blending tool. We're going to dab the collage medium onto the stamp. You don't want to get too much, but you just want to make sure the stamp is wet so the glitter will ultimately stick. So we're going to stamp this down. It is a little slippery, so be careful when you do that. And so you can see we got a nice stamping of the glue here. And then we're going to take the glitter and just pour it over top. And then take off the excess. And then we're not going to shake off all the glitter. We're going to let it dry just like that. And then when it's dry, we'll shake off any excess that didn't stick. Okay, so I'm going to put this back into the jar. And now we're ready for the next step. I have a black number 8 tag, and I'm going to spray it with this Distress mica stain, and this is Hocus Pocus. And what you have to do is shake it up really well so the pigment that settled at the bottom gets mixed in with the spray stain. And once that's all mixed together, I'm going to grab my splat box here and put a piece of scrap paper at the bottom. Place my tag on the box, and we're going to go ahead and spray the entire tag. And I want to get pretty good coverage of the tag. And once that's done, let me show you what it looks like. When it's wet, you don't see the mica powder as much, but as soon as it dries, you'll see how pearlescent it is, and you'll really see the purple color in there. So now what we're going to do is stamp our sentiment. I have another piece of black cardstock, and I'm going to use Distress embossing ink to stamp Trick or Treat. So you ink up the stamp, and then we'll stamp it down. We're going to cut this out so it doesn't matter where you stamp it. And then we're going to take some Ranger gunmetal embossing powder and sprinkle it over top. Return that to the jar, and now we're going to melt it with the heat gun. And it just takes a second for the heat gun to get hot, and then you'll see it start to melt. And once that's melted, we'll let it cool, and we're going to paint in the letters with the jack-o'-lantern mica stain. And to do that, make sure you shake it up well and take out the spray top, and then use a paintbrush and dip it directly into the bottle and just paint the letters. And we're going to cut this out so you don't have to be too fussy about staying in the lines. And plus the embossing powder acts like a resist, so the spray stain will fall into the letters on its own. And now I'm going to grab the tag again, and now you can see how it dried. You can really see that purple color, and it's still a little damp, so I'm just going to dry it quickly. And now we're ready to do the next step, which is add our texture paste onto the tag. And I'm using the background Tim Holtz stencil. I'm going to put this stamp here as a placeholder where I'm going to eventually put the sentiment on the tag. And I'm using the Grave texture paste, and you put it on the back of the palette knife and just put it through the stencil. And I just did like a diagonal pattern around the saying and put a smooth, even coat of the texture paste on there. We're going to set that aside to dry again. Let's clean up our stencil. You want to clean up your stencil right away or else the texture paste will stick to it. And now the next thing we're going to do is dye our ribbon with the mica stains. It's great if you just buy a collection of different neutral ribbons in white or beige, and then you can use all of your distressed products to colorize them. So for this first one, I think I'm going to use the jack-o'-lantern, and make sure you shake it up. And then I'm just going to spray the whole length of the ribbon here. You don't really need too much, just enough to cover it. And I'm going to take a paper towel and put it on there to dry. And then I also want to blot off that extra ink that's caught in the fibers of the ribbon there. This will help it dry faster as well. And I like the fact that there's a variation to the colors. And now next we're going to take another piece, and I'm using Hocus Pocus again. Same procedure, spray it and put it on the paper towel and then blot off the extra ink and then let it sit to dry. Now we're going to take our glitter cats and use yellow stickles to paint in their eyeballs, and I'm going to go ahead and get the stamp again for reference because I can't really see where the eyeballs go with all this glitter here. So just put a little bit of the yellow stickles like so. And then we're still going to let that dry. And now we'll go back to our tag again, and we're going to colorize these bats here. It's still a little damp, so I'm going to take the heat gun again and dry it. Something to note, when you heat the texture paste when it's still wet, it's going to puff up. And you might want to have that look, but if not, let it dry a little bit and then you can go ahead and heat it up, and then it won't puff up as much. Okay, now we put the stencil back on top of the tag, and this time I'm going to use the Bubbling Cauldron mica stain, and I'll take my paintbrush and paint it on the bats. Again, don't forget to shake it up really well, and then I kind of missed some spots, so I'm just going back on there. And now you want to cut out the trick or treat, but I've already done that to save some time. We're going to just place that there a second, and I've done the same thing with the cats. I've already cut it out and let it dry. Just place them on the tag, and then we'll go ahead and glue them down with some collage medium. And you just want a pretty good amount to make it stick. And use your finger to spread it evenly. Same with the cats. And stick it down like so. If you find you need some more glue, you can go ahead and put it on there. Now we're going to put the ribbons in through the hole. So you fold it in half and kind of squish it up so that it fits in the hole, and go from the back to the front. Then open the loops and stick all the tails through the open loop. And then you pull it tight, just like that. And then we're going to trim the tops of the ribbon just to finish it off. So you want to fold it in half and cut into the ribbon in a V shape. And just adjust it a little bit here, and there you have it. Look how pearlescent and sparkly this is. It's a great addition to a treat bag, or maybe you want to just put it on a card. So if you'd like to make this project, we have a link to the full supply list in the description box below. And if you'd like to see more crafty videos, please subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.